There is a subtle shift that happens in a home about 3 weeks after retirement. It isn't a loud argument. It isn't a major crisis. It is a change in the atmosphere. For 30 years, the house had a rhythm. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., the house breathed. It had its own quiet routines. It was a domain of solitude, managed, usually, by the person who stayed behind. Whether that person was a homemaker or simply worked a different schedule, the home was their territory during the day. It was their ship to captain. Then, the retirement party ends. The gold watch is placed on the dresser. And suddenly, the rhythm breaks. You walk into the kitchen to make a coffee, and he is there. You go to the living room to read your book, and he is there. You go to the home office to pay a bill, and he is standing in the doorway asking, "What's for lunch?" Or, "What are we doing today?" It feels petty to complain about it. After all, you love this person. You worked your whole lives to be together, but you find yourself feeling a strange, prickly irritation. You feel crowded. You feel watched. You feel like a shadow has attached itself to your heels. Psychologists and sociologists have a name for this very real phenomenon. They call it husband Underfoot Syndrome. It sounds funny, like a cartoon, but for many couples, it is the first true crisis of retirement. It is the friction caused when two tectonic plates, the husband's need for connection and the wife's need for autonomy, collide in the narrow hallway of the home. To resolve this, we have to stop treating it like a joke and start treating it like a structural problem. We have to look at the ecology of the home. For the husband, the transition is massive. For 40 years, his turf was the office. That was where he had authority, community, and purpose. When he retires, he loses his turf. He comes home seeking a new place to belong. But the home is not neutral ground. The home is her turf. She has spent decades perfecting her systems. How the laundry is done, when the grocery shopping happens, the quiet hour she cherishes in the morning. When he enters this space full-time, he is not just a husband. He is an invader. He doesn't mean to be. He is simply a man who has lost his team. He is used to turning to a colleague and saying, "Hey, did you see the game?" Or, "What do you think about this news story?" Now, you are his only colleague. You are his sounding board, his lunch buddy, and his entertainment director. He follows you from room to room not to annoy you, but because he is looking for his North Star. And for 40 years, that office was the star. Now, you are the only star left in his sky. However, for the wife, this feels like a suffocation. It feels like the loss of the most precious asset she owns, her privacy. The psychological sanctum of the empty house has been breached. She can no longer move through her day on autopilot. She has to perform. She has to be on. So, how do we solve this? How do we save the marriage from the death of 1,000 small interruptions? The answer lies in architecture. We must rezone the house. Step 1. The no-fly zones, separate corners. In a boxing match, the fighters go to separate corners to recover. In a retirement marriage, you need the same thing. You must have an explicit conversation about territory. The husband needs a space that is exclusively his. It might be the garage, a spare bedroom, the basement, or even just a specific armchair with a side table. This space is his new office. It is where he goes to read, to tinker, to doom scroll on his iPad, to nap. When he is in that zone, he is at work. He is not underfoot. He has a domain to manage. This gives him a sense of ownership, and more importantly, it physically removes him from the kitchen or the living room during the wife's peak activity hours. Step 2. The lunch break rule. The biggest source of irritation is usually the continuous conversation. The husband, bored, shares every random thought that pops into his head. Look at this weather. Did you see the price of gas? Where are the scissors? To fix this, you borrow a rule from the workplace, the meeting. You agree that from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., You do your own things. You are in your separate corners. You ignore each other. Then you meet for lunch. Lunch becomes a date. It becomes the container for all those random thoughts. You sit down, you eat, and you talk. You connect. And then, at 1 p.m., you break again until dinner. This creates scarcity. It makes the conversation valuable again, because it isn't constant. It allows the wife to regain her mental solitude, and it gives the husband a structured time to look forward to. Step 3. The go-out mandate. Husband Underfoot Syndrome is cured instantly if the husband is simply not there. The most loving thing a wife can do is encourage her husband to find a mission outside the walls of the house. A volunteer role, a golf league, a coffee group with other men, a part-time job. This is not about getting rid of him. It is about helping him rebuild his own turf. A man with a mission is a man who walks with purpose. A man without a mission wanders, and a wanderer inevitably wanders into your way. If you are the husband listening to this, and you sense that your wife is getting snappy or distant, ask yourself, am I hovering? Am I looking to her to fill the void that work left behind? And if you are the wife, know that your irritation is valid. You are not a bad person for wanting your space back, but also know that his hovering is a sign of vulnerability. He is a ship that has lost its anchor. The goal is not to live separate lives. The goal is to be two whole, independent people who choose to come together, rather than two people who are collapsed on top of each other. You can build a new rhythm. One where the footsteps in the hallway are not a nuisance, but a welcome sound, because you have had enough time apart to miss them. That is the dance of the modern elder. A little bit of space, a little bit of grace, and a whole lot of understanding that we are all just trying to find our place in this new, quiet world. If you are navigating the tricky geography of a shared home in retirement, you are not alone. Join us at the Modern Elder as we map this territory together.